Once upon a time, in a dense jungle, a father wolf was out hunting to provide for his family. While roaming through the woods, he suddenly heard a faint cry. Following the sound, he discovered a tiny human baby lying abandoned between the bushes. The wolf was astonished. "This is a human baby," he said, completely surprised. With great care, the wolf took the baby back home, away from harm's way. However, from a distance, Shere Khan, the tiger, watched with growing anger. It was he who had stolen the baby from the humans, and now the wolf had found it. Furious, Shere Khan vowed to reclaim the child for himself. Meanwhile, the mother wolf and her cubs grew fond of the little human. "We will call him Mowgli," said the mother wolf, smiling lovingly at the child. From that moment, Mowgli became part of the wolf family. As Mowgli grew, he learned to live in the jungle. The mother wolf treated him as one of her own, and Mowgli quickly became friends with all the animals. He played with the monkeys, raced with the deer, and climbed the tall trees, exploring every corner of the jungle. But all the while, Shere Khan lurked, waiting for an opportunity to snatch Mowgli away. He knew that the jungle could be dangerous for a human child, and he watched from the shadows, plotting his next move. One day, Akela, the wise old wolf, called a meeting with the panther, Bagheera. "Human babies are very smart," Akela said. "We should raise Mowgli as a jungle boy, teaching him the ways of the jungle." Bagheera agreed, and they decided that Baloo, the bear, would protect Mowgli and teach him the jungle's rules. Years passed quickly, and Baloo became Mowgli's mentor. He taught Mowgli how to climb trees to find honey and nuts. Mowgli was a quick learner, absorbing everything Baloo taught him. Every day, Mowgli grew stronger and faster, learning to understand the sounds of the jungle. Baloo was proud of him. Bagheera too taught Mowgli valuable lessons. He showed him how to recognize traps set by humans and how to avoid them. One day, a young wolf cub fell into one of these traps, and Shere Khan, eager to hunt the cub, was ready to make a meal out of it. But Mowgli acted quickly, rescuing the cub from the trap before Shere Khan could attack. The tiger was furious, but could do nothing to stop Mowgli. Baloo also taught Mowgli magic words that would help him stay safe in the jungle. Mowgli learned these words by heart, ensuring that no animal would harm him. However, Shere Khan grew desperate, realizing that he could not catch Mowgli alone. He went to the Bandalogs, a band of mischievous monkeys, and convinced them to help him. "If Mowgli teaches us everything he knows, we will become the wisest creatures in the jungle," he said. One evening, as Mowgli was building a shelter to protect himself from an approaching storm, the Bandalogs silently watched from their hiding place. They saw their opportunity and pounced. At sunset, two monkeys kidnapped Mowgli and took him deep into the jungle to a place called Monkey Town. This was an old, abandoned human settlement that the monkeys had made their own. Mowgli, now surrounded by the Bandalogs, realized he had been captured. He quickly began to think of a plan to escape. As he looked around, he spotted Chill the vulture soaring high above the jungle. Remembering the magic words Baloo had taught him, Mowgli called out, "We are the same blood, you and I." Hearing these words, Chill immediately understood that Mowgli was in danger. "I'm Mowgli," the vulture said. "I'll tell Baloo and Bagheera that you've been kidnapped." Without hesitation, Chill flew off to deliver the message. Meanwhile, the Bandalogs brought Mowgli to Monkey Town and locked him in a small room with high walls. Though Mowgli tried to escape, he was outnumbered, and the monkeys quickly caught him again. Back in the jungle, Baloo, Bagheera and Kaa the giant python learned of Mowgli's kidnapping, they immediately set off to rescue him. They arrived at Monkey Town, hiding behind a large statue, waiting for the perfect moment to act. From their hiding spot, they could see Mowgli surrounded by hundreds of monkeys. At the right moment, Kaa signaled to the others. Bagheera sprang into action, using his powerful claws to punch the monkeys, sending them scattering in fear. But soon, Bagheera was overwhelmed by the sheer number of monkeys, and Mowgli was dragged into a small, enclosed tower. Mowgli could hear Bagheera fighting desperately outside. Remembering that the monkeys were afraid of water, Mowgli quickly realized what he had to do. "Bagheera, jump into the water!" he shouted. Bagheera, hearing Mowgli's words, leapt into the water, causing the monkeys to scatter in panic. Baloo, too, was fighting off the monkeys with all his strength, but there were too many of them for him to handle alone. He was starting to falter, and Bagheera watched helplessly from the water. Just then, Kaa, the giant python, emerged and began using his enormous tail to knock the monkeys away. The monkeys, terrified of Kaa, fled into the jungle, leaving Baloo and Mowgli safe. However, there was still one more obstacle to overcome. Kaa opened his massive mouth, and with a powerful hiss, he silenced the monkeys, freezing them in place. Bagheera seized this opportunity, jumping out of the water and rushing to Mowgli's aid. "I'm here!" Mowgli cried, waving from the tower. Kaa swung his tail and smashed the walls of the tower, freeing Mowgli. Baloo embraced Mowgli, overjoyed to see him safe. "Are you okay?" Baloo asked. "Yes," Mowgli replied. "But I'm so tired and hungry. Thank you all for risking your lives to save me." Mowgli, grateful for his friends, turned to Kaa. "Thank you for saving me, Kaa," he said, smiling. After saying their goodbyes to Kaa, Mowgli, Baloo, and Bagheera returned home. Meanwhile, Shere Khan, realizing that Mowgli was protected by such powerful friends, retreated deep into the jungle, never to return. Years passed, and Mowgli grew into a young man. One day, while wandering near the human village, he met a woman who instantly recognized him. She gasped, realizing that Mowgli was the child who had been kidnapped by Shere Khan all those years ago. The woman embraced Mowgli, and as Mowgli looked at her, he saw something familiar. The woman was his mother, and the little boy she was holding looked just like Mowgli had as a child. It was his brother. Baloo, Bagheera, and Kaa watched from a distance, happy to see Mowgli reunited with his human family. Mowgli's friends, though sad to say goodbye, knew that he would always be a part of their jungle family. "Whenever you need us, Mowgli, just remember the magic words," Baloo said. "You are our brother, and we love you." With a final farewell, Mowgli went to live with his human family, but he never forgot the jungle that raised him or the friends who had cared for him. He lived happily ever after, always remembering his life in the jungle and the powerful bonds he had with his animal family.